today we're going to learn about something known as the water cycle. So we know water is all around us, isn't it? It's in our oceans, it's in our lakes, it's in our rivers, it's in our swimming pools, it's even in our showers. Water's everywhere. Did you know that water actually covers 71% of the Earth's surface? That's a lot of water. But have you ever thought about where does that water come from? How does it get there? When a pond or a little puddle in front of your house dries up, where does that water go? Well, today we're going to learn exactly where that water goes by learning about the water cycle. So, there's 4 steps to the water cycle. We'll start with number 1. The first step is called evaporation. So if we have a body of water, such as an ocean or a lake or even a little puddle, and we have the sun and its rays are shining down on that water and it's heating up the water. When it heats up that water, it's going to turn it into something known as water vapor or steam, which is clear and you can't really see it, but it's going to turn that water into water vapor, and that water vapor is going to rise up and it's going to go up into the sky. It's going to evaporate into the sky, and that's known as evaporation. So step 2, once that water that evaporated off of the ocean or the lake, once that water that evaporated gets up to the sky, it's going to meet some really, really cold air. Because believe it or not, up in the clouds, that air is really pretty cold. So when that water vapor meets that cold air, it's going to condense. And that means it's going to turn back into a liquid form of water. And that's called condensation. When that evaporated water reaches the sky, hits that cold air, and becomes liquid again. And what it's going to do when it becomes liquid is it's going to form a cloud. And the third step, it happens when the clouds get a lot of water in them and they get too heavy and they can't hold all that water. So what's going to happen is that cloud's going to release some of that water and it's going to precipitate down to the earth, either in the form of rain or snow or hail, which is ice. So when those clouds get really, really heavy and really full of water, they need to release some of it down to earth. And it's going to do that by raining or precipitating. So then once all that water that's precipitated gets down to the earth, where's it going to go? Well, there's a couple places it could go. First, it could go into the soil and get absorbed into the soil on the ground. And that's going to help the animals and the plants drink. That's going to be their drinking water and their nutrients. And then it could also go back into the oceans and the lakes and the ponds and the rivers that it came from. And the third thing it can do is it can land on the soil and then it can kind of roll over the soil to make its way to the lake or the ocean. So we have 4 steps in the process. And that last step is called collection. When the water comes back into the soil or back into the ocean, that's called collection. So we're going to review these 4 steps. We're going to use our diagram here of the water cycle. So we have a big body of water, such as an ocean or a river or a lake, and that body of water is going to be heated by the sun, and the sun's rays are going to hit it. And it's going to turn some of that water into water vapor. And the water vapor is going to evaporate up into the sky. And when it gets up into the sky, it's going to hit that really cold air, and it's going to condense. And it's going to turn back into a liquid water and form clouds. And once those clouds get really heavy and really full of that liquid, they're going to have to release some of that down to the earth. So some of that liquid water is going to fall from the clouds and it's going to precipitate down to the earth. And it can either be in rain, snow, hail, sleet. It can be in a bunch of different forms. And once that precipitation comes down back to the earth, it's going to collect either in the soil or in oceans or lakes or rivers. It's going to collect back into the ground and the bodies of water. And then do you know what's going to happen after it collects back into the bodies of water in the ground? You got it. The entire process of the water cycle is going to repeat all over again. Because you know what? It's a process that's continually repeating. It's a cycle, and it repeats every day. So next time you're going swimming in the lake or in your swimming pool, or you're simply standing outside in a rainstorm, think to yourself, where did this water come from? How did it get here? And where's it going to go next? Thanks for listening. That's the water cycle.